everyone. How's it going?
Good.
Did everyone drink their coffee so you're still awake for the afternoon? My name is Cassidy Tawse-Garcia. I'm the Western organizer for the National Young Farmers Coalition. This is a picture of my people. They look a lot like you guys. These are a group of young farmers from across the country that came together for our annual leadership conference called Convergence, which this year is going to be in Albuquerque, New Mexico in just a few weeks. But so much about who we are as an organization is about community. We were founded in 2010 by 3 farmers in the Hudson Valley of New York who were looking to buy farmland, and it was just impossible to be able to afford anything there was nothing that was affordable for them to find. So the coalition was founded on the spot with the purpose of addressing the barriers that young and beginning farmers face. It's an organization by farmers for farmers, and it's the only organization in the country that gives young farmers a direct voice in Washington, D.C. We currently have 37 chapters in 26 states. Our newest chapter is in Hawaii, which I'm really excited about. Maybe I'll get to go there soon. We work as kind of 3 main areas, but our first thing that our organization does is it provides network and community for our members. We also offer education and trainings, which we call business services, and then we do policy. So why do we need an organization for young farmers? Well, you guys might know this, but the average age of a farmer in America is 58. Does anyone know what the average age of a farmer is in Montana?
63, 65.
It's 59 as of 2016, so it's actually not bad. Colorado's average farmer age is 64. And so our farmer population is aging. Also, we're in a situation where in the next decade to 25 years, 2/3 of farmland is going to change hands. So how are we going to address who will be taking over that farmland? What is our succession plan as a country to address that? In addition, real estate prices continue to rise. I've heard today in various presentations from people all across Montana, but this is an issue that's impacting you guys really personally. But real estate prices for farmland have doubled in the last decade. So how is it going to be that young people coming out of college and university are going to be able to afford to farm? We did a national survey. Our first one was in 2011. We just completed our second national survey this year of 5,000 farmers from across the country. And this is what they said their biggest challenges they were facing to being beginning farmers. Lack of capital, land access, healthcare, access to credit, business planning and marketing skills, profitable markets, education and training. I'd like to add about 15% of the people that took our survey were not actively farming. Their number one reason for not farming was student loan debt. So who is a young farmer? For the most part, young farmers today are first generation farmers. They're not coming from a farming family background. I did say for the most part, but they're first generation farmers. They're coming out of college. Most of them do have student loan debt. Most of them are not coming from ag backgrounds or ag education in college. And so they're seeking training for the first time after undergrad, and they are needing land, which is something that is happening on a larger scale than ever before. So what do we do to serve this group of young people that are interested in farming? So they asked us to look at, I kind of just went over a lot of sad things, what our challenges are, but I want to talk about a little bit about what's working. So first of all, farmers are working really hard all the time. This is a picture of a farmer named Margaret outside of Pennsylvania that had a farm called One Woman Farm. And her lease actually was terminated on her, and she had no option to continue farming. So she is now working as a UPS repair person, but we are helping her work to find some protected farmland. Okay, so what's working? I don't know why that's cut off, but that says working farm easements. So I just did a presentation on the Farm Bill, and the conversation of ASAPs came up. which is the Agricultural Conservation Easement Program. So in 2014, we were instrumental in making sure that farm viability, which sounds wonky, was included in the definition of an ASAP. And so why that is super important is because there's land that's being protected from development by land trusts across our country, which is great, but that land is not being protected for working farmers. And so it's not affordable for working farmers. So there's programs like OPAV, Option to Purchase at Agricultural Value, which ensure land is sold to qualified farmers. And it happens through land trusts, and they can buy and resell at the appraised agricultural value of land. And so it takes off the development rights. What the important thing to understand about this is that it takes off the development value of land, and it is able to make land affordable for farmers, and it also ensures that it stays in active farming. So that is not the case with all ASAP programs. OPAV is specific that it stays in active farming for the perpetuity of the easement. Okay, so one land trust that is doing a great job of making farmland affordable is the Vermont Land Trust. They're like the premier example. So what this graph shows, you don't really have to see the numbers, but the brown column is a parcel of land that the Vermont Land Trust acquired at its market value. And so then they put a traditional conservation easement on it, and it took the price down by about half. Then they put an OPAV, an option to purchase at agricultural value easement on the property, and then that made the in price $165,000 from $760,000. So that it actually made the land affordable for someone to buy. So they're innovative, and this is something that we could all be learning from. So if you guys have friends in the land trust community, make sure that they are understanding that there's options they can do to help people, young farmers. All right, so we just released this tool. I'm really excited about it. I'll hurry up. It's called it's Affordability Calculator. So this is something that you guys can all use by going to this website, findingfarmland.youngfarmers.org, and it's a resource that will help you if you're looking for land, figure out what you can afford and what your options are. So I would highly suggest using it. I just want to quickly talk about some tax incentives that are working to help beginning farmers. So the premier state, they just passed this earlier in 2017, is Minnesota. They passed the beginning farmer tax credit. What is really important is it's first of its kind program in the country, is that it's designed to incentivize the transition of farmland assets to young and beginning farmers through sale of farmland. But they also have a requirement that those beginning farmers take a class to be prepared to be farmers, and the program helps fund the class. So you're getting people on the land that are prepared to do the work, but they're also helping pay for the class, so it reduces that burden. In Montana, you guys do have a tax incentive, but it's more restrictive. And what I found is that it is limited to land that is larger than 80 acres. So for the most part, young farmers are diversified growers growing on small parcels of land. So this is a prohibitive program to who your archetypical young farmer is. So there's some opportunity here for maybe I would be interested to hear from all of you guys if you could make that program a little more inclusive. And then finally, I just wanted to say in the 2014 Farm Bill, we were instrumental in making FSA microloans happen, and what that means is for loans for less than $50,000, the paperwork required and the application process was vastly diminished, and also there's less requirement to prove that, like, for example, you own the property you're farming on, it's okay to lease, and we changed the requirement that you no longer have to be married to your partner that you're farming with if you're trying to apply for a loan with them. So that's an example of huge success. 27,000 of these FSA microloans have been made. In the past year, I told you earlier, we offer trainings. We've offered 11 trainings across the country. We've trained almost 250 farmers in applying for these FSA programs. And so we're hoping in the next Farm Bill that we can do a similar program with EQIP. And so what can you guys all do? I'm just going to run through this really quick to my last slide. Okay, there's opportunities for personal bridge lending for USDA loans and grants. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Slow Money, but if you want to know more about that, you can come and talk to me. It's kind of an alternative lending opportunity. Support cooperatives and food hubs. Buy directly from farmers. Advocate for business of farming and policy and the programs that are necessary to make financing work. The Farm Bill is super important, as well as your state legislation. You had legislator Gabe Brown who almost passed a student loan repayment plan in the last legislative session, so there's some opportunities there. Mentor the next generation, I can't emphasize that enough. We need to build relationships across generations to address this shortfall of farmers we have, and to support movements and leaders that make a difference. And your leadership really matters. Thank you. Pam?
I'm Dave Renn. I'm the Beginning Farmer and Rancher Program Manager at the Community Food and Agriculture Coalition. Our offices are in Missoula, and historically our organization's programming has focused on the Missoula County area. But over the last handful of years, we've expanded a lot of our programming, specifically in our Beginning Farmer and Rancher program area, across the state. So I'm going to just kind of run through some of the stuff that we're doing in the Beginning Farmer and Rancher program, and then I'll talk about how we're focusing on those community level pieces and the importance of that community level to what we're doing, and then a couple of things that you all can do on the community level. So we have a curriculum that we developed with a number of partners across the state called Planning for On-Farm Success, which is a business planning curriculum for farmers and ranchers. It, in particular, focuses on direct marketing models of agriculture. So it's not about getting started in commodity agriculture, but it's absolutely a fit for people who are going back to the farm where the family has been in a commodity production system for years and years, because as a presenter I saw at one point said, if you want to come back to the farm and join the operation, you've got to bring a Ferrari worth of value with you. So you're not going to just come in and be part of the gang and magically the revenue is going to support you too. You need to add value to that operation. We also host farmer field days in the Missoula area that are production focused farmer to farmer education opportunities. We've done some work on financing tools, alternative financing tools, including a mini grant program that's been small amounts of money to invest in pieces of equipment that will improve an operation. And through that program, as well as the field days and some of the other things that I'll talk about, one of the things that we always try to do is produce resources that can share that knowledge. In the case of the mini grants, we're producing guides about using those practices or those pieces of equipment so that other beginning farmers can learn from those lessons. In the case of field days and some of our workshops, we are creating guides for people who want to host events like that in their area, best practices and things that we've learned, so that you can easily roll out stuff like that in your community. We also are super excited about work we've been doing with the Kiva loan programs. Anybody here familiar with Kiva loans? Anybody? A few folks? So Kiva lending is sort of like a Kickstarter crowdfunding kind of thing, but people don't give money to the project, they lend money to the project. They're 0% interest loans. And the thing that's really cool about Kiva loans is that Kiva has built a community of socially conscious lenders who lend into this program, and when they're repaid, they tend to lend again to another project that they find on the site. And so we've had, I think, 4 successfully funded projects at this point. Is that right, Annie? 4? I won't wait for the answer because I only have 3 minutes. A number of successfully funded projects, and we found that farming projects get funded really quickly on the Kiva platform in a matter of weeks, up to $10,000 of funding. And the farmers that we've worked with have reported that half of that money is coming from people that they know, who they promoted to in their network, and half of that money is coming from people that they've never met before, who learned about their project there and were interested in helping. So that's been really cool. We also provide one-on-one technical assistance in a partnership with the FSA, and that project allows us to work with beginning farmers and ranchers on all aspects of their business plan. So figuring out details of their operation or what they're trying to do. And in particular, we can help navigate the FSA the wilderness that is FSA programs and paperwork. And then we manage the FarmLink Montana site. How many folks here have been on FarmLink Montana? Oh my gosh, we got to get more hands going on this one. FarmLink Montana is a resource site for beginning farmers and ranchers. It's a website that includes Montana's land link, as well as listings for mentors, jobs and training in agriculture. So a lot of resources for beginning farmers and ranchers. You might notice that a lot of the things I'm talking about match up to that list Cassidy showed of the top obstacles for people trying to get into agriculture. And that's kind of where a lot of these efforts come from. So in terms of the community stuff, stop. Ask me about it when we start doing the Q&A.
I'm Gerwe. Purple Frog Gardens is my farm. I was a young farmer once. And I have a quick little PowerPoint tour of my farm. And
I'm Whitney Pratt. I'm the farm manager at Purple Frog, and this is our first time having a farm manager at Purple Frog, and my first time being a farm manager, so we are learning a lot.
we're located in Whitefish, Montana. We have a lot of advantages there because we have a large tourist base as well as a fairly affluent clientele up there in the Flathead Valley. This is our farm. There's a lot of infrastructure, as you can see there. We'll go through there's our sign, and that's our house in the middle of the sign, hanging back. And the upper picture is what the farm looked like when it started. We bought our land in 1991 and just slowly built all the infrastructure. Infrastructure is expensive, it's time consuming. Both my partner Mike and I worked off farm to come together with the funds. We were lucky that we got in the lower, that graph that the Cassidy showed, we were lucky that we bought property at an earlier time, and so we just slowly built our farm. There's an aerial view. I'm a little nervous, Gabe. There is some uncovered ground. That's an old picture.
She is mulching. I got her mulching.
Yes, I mulch. The city of Whitefish, our town, has brought all of the municipalities as well as city residents' leaves to our farm for the past 28 years. So we have an amazing amount of biomass brought to our farm.
And Pam and Mike have been bringing volunteers and interns onto the farm that entire time, so building not only new farmers, but a community of people who care about food and know how it's grown, and that's been really important to their success as well.
We've had over 90 people spend at least a summer with us. There's the entrance to our farm. One thing we did that's really smart was as you walk in, there's our tool shed. As you leave, there's the tool shed, so the tools aren't spread all over the farm. That's a really great thing that we did. There's a hoop house. We're a market farm. We do farmers market, CSA, a farm stand, wholesale, and we use a produce broker for our wholesale accounts. There's our farmers market when we first started. Oh, so tiny, so little, so young. And there's our booth now. There's Whitney calling in the troops to come buy our abundance. Community and food access is important to us. We have a volunteer day on Wednesday mornings where people come and work with us for 4 hours, and then we give them food out at the end. And then we also do several CSA for labor trades. Also on Wednesday mornings when the school is in session, we have 3 boys from Columbia Falls High School Special Ed program who come and hang out with us and work and get job training skills. Here's a picture of some volunteers helping us with our garlic planting. This year we added a pizza oven. This was our first go with the pizza oven in the snow. The company that made the pizza oven put that picture on their website. This young man to the right we do a program called Care Farm, which is really neat. We bring developmentally disabled adults to the farm, and I get a small stipend for hanging out with them, and they get a on-farm experience. And there's 2 of my Care Farm clients. My dad's an avid yard sailor, and he had bought them both watches, and then Gil was an older gentleman who came and was helping us transplant. We also have done plays at our farm. This was a play that happened. Community and fun is really important to us. There's the people enjoying the play. There's people enjoying the play. We want our farm fun. There's a cute little baby foot, and there's a farm stand. We also host farm dinners. Here's a beginning setup. People are starting to roll in. We also, one thing that we've done really well is we have a lot of great business partners. This is the caterer that does our farm dinners. We do 2 or 3 a season. We've also partnered with our local brewery. We have a small stand of hops that are hand-picked, and the Frog Hop Seasonal Ale is with our hops as well as community members' fresh hops. Those are the hops, and then the hops are also architecturally, as you can see, people that they're waiting for the play, and they're beautiful hops. There's the beer dinner recipe. We also have a great partnership with our local hostel. We have a lot of people who come to our community in the summer, and this was just the last delivery that we gave to them last week. Okay. We also do flowers. Fire cider kits, that was new this year. We have an Airstream that we want to put a commercial kitchen in, and when we talk about beginning farmers, we want to utilize our infrastructure that we've worked so hard to build, make some more money, share our farm with more people, and help grow some more farmers. Cooking classes, blah, blah, blah. Mike and I wish we were clones. Thanks for listening.
I think a huge part of our success, well, there are a lot of keys to it. So one is that I'm not buying the farm and I'm not taking it over, and I think that would be a much greater challenge for a transition. Another benefit that Pam and I talk about is that we're not related. And so we have a pretty wonderful relationship. And for me, as a new farm manager and working with someone who has owned and run her farm for 25 years with her partner, having that relationship and having expectations that have lined up with what's happened have been really important. So knowing what I was getting into, expecting to have challenges and to figure things out and to slowly start to change who is running things at what times has been really helpful. But I can't stress enough that relationships matter so much in transitions of any kind.
That was good. You have to give mine. So I want to talk a little bit to those of you who have sons, daughters, relatives, or others. I really believe an operation is not truly sustainable unless we're able to take it from one generation to the next, whether it be family member or not. So the tall, thin guy on the left, I claim him as my son. My wife says it was a tall mailman because he's 6'4" and quite a bit taller than me. We knew from early on that our son was going to come back and be a part of the operation. He helped the operation grow from ever since he was young. We also have a daughter who's married, not a part of the operation. Our son is allowed to make any decision concerning the operation, and we allow him to do anything except one, and the only stipulation is he cannot sell the land. But if I come home from Montana and he sold all the cows, I'm good with that. I'm going to ask him why, but I'm good with it. So what we did is my wife and I put our ranch into a living trust, and we have the income from that living trust for the rest of our lives. The option to take the income, I should say. It's set up, that is the land, the livestock, the equipment, everything farm related is in that living trust. Our son is the beneficiary of that living trust. So when we pass away, he gets 100% of all the assets from that trust. Paul works for us in the meantime, and yes, we pay him, you know. He knows that that carrot's dangling out there and it's all his. That doesn't mean we treat him like a slave. I allow him to get 6 hours of sleep a night. We also have a daughter, and upon our passing, she's going to get our personal estate plus all our life insurance. Is it equal? No. Is it fair? Absolutely yes. I see way too many operations where the sons, daughters, etc., who spend their life working on the farm, all of a sudden are expected to buy all their siblings out. That's not fair. You know, it's not fair. It shouldn't be. Our son helped us add value to the operation. It's only fair he gets the majority of that. Now, what we did is we said we have our ranch, which is one entity, and then we set a marketing business up for the marketing side. That's called Brown's Marketing LLC. We purposely set that up. Paul is 60% owner. My wife and I each own 20%. And the marketing business buys all the products from the ranch and then fabricates them and adds value. This teaches Paul business. He makes all the business decisions with the marketing end of it. You know, he is handling a multi-million-dollar business before he's 30 years of age. But he's built that up. The other thing is he's done it all with zero borrowed money. We started with, his mom and I put $10,000 in there to start the marketing business, and now he's built it up from there. He only deals in cash. He has yet to ever borrow a penny. And I think that's just good, sound business, is you grow as your profits grow. Okay. I believe one of the major issues with farms and ranches today is that they don't teach whoever the next generation is business. By having separate entities like this, you're forcing them to learn business and make business decisions. I have a friend he's in his 50s, and his father and mother are still running the operation, telling him what to do. That's absolutely ridiculous. You know, he's going to be retirement age and not know how to run a business. Okay, experience is the best teacher, without a doubt. Sometimes you just got to let them know when to make mistakes. And that's what we do, is I allow him to make business decisions. And he'll learn from those experiences. Now, one of the other things we do on our operation is we have internships. For instance, this last year we had 84 applicants. We usually have between 2 and 4 interns. We offer our interns the opportunity to take over one of our enterprises. If they show us the drive and desire and determination, we're going to spin off one of our enterprises, whatever it may be to them. Now, we're not going to let them take the whole enterprise, but we're going to finance them for it. We're going to provide the land for them to run that enterprise on, and then they have to sell the products back to us at a fair price. Once they grow that enterprise, we're going to allow them the opportunity to leave with it. And that way, they get started in a business. And the thing of it is, I look at any farm and ranch operation, there's myriads of opportunities to run multiple enterprises. You know, we run 17 enterprises on our ranch, but here's a list of a lot of other things we'd like to do. So there's ways to get young people involved. Young people should not be buying land right off the get-go. They should be growing their enterprises, make their operations portable. Once they increase their profit, have a nest egg, then you can think about settling down and buying land.
Okay, we're going to transition.